respected, distinguished, experienced panelist in today's webinar from a galaxy of versatile disciplines, the avid devoted listeners in the today's session, and above all, the committed, devoted architect, moderator of today's webinar, Vivekanandji. When you had invited me to join this webinar, you will remember, I definitely felt a bit self-conscious that post-COVID, unlocking education post-COVID basically relates to a matter of administration, and perhaps I'm not the right person to throw light. But since your persuasive skill and your, such affectionate way of inviting, compelled me to join the session. And therefore, I look upon this as a great opportunity to receive and get light on the after effect of the COVID and the unlocking of education. And I can assure you that I have been greatly benefited by having the views of all the distinguished speakers. You see, first of all, I would like to, appreciate Professor Chaudhary that he has unlocking education is obviously an after effect of this pandemic on this grave disease, and therefore it is definitely of utmost importance that one should go to the nucleus of the problem, and therefore maybe some initiative and effort may be done to do more intensive research and come out as to how to control the pandemic. As I said, I don't claim myself to be an expert in this area, and even otherwise, by virtue of my training and profession, we are a spoiled brat in the sense that we always look upon the assistance. In the court, it is the assistance of the lawyers. And when the lawyers are not able to give enough assistance, especially relating to technical matters, we also co-opt the technical experts by the reports, by the research, and so many inputs that we take benefit. So in that sense, I think that when we are discussing unlocking of education, it is very appropriate that focus and emphasis has been laid down on the research and importance of going to the reasons for the COVID. And if some research is done in that area, and I'm quite sure it must have been done, it must have been taken by so many research organizations at the government and non-governmental level. I'm quite sure studies must be going on. I would beseech and would request all the panelists and all the listeners that please treat my views and my observations on this topic as my random thoughts on this subject about unlocking of education in the COVID area. But as the anchor and the moderator of the program, Vivekanandji, said, and straight away I'm jumping to that point, which might have been the last point, about the financial aspect to the education. And then if the human resource ministry can, it would be very appropriate for him to to focus and highlight that I would use that bhukhe bhajan na hoi gopala, in the sense that, unless there are enough financial support in any venture, that becomes difficult to tackle. Even the judiciary is most of the time focusing that it should have its own fund for taking up the projects. So while I support what's going on in the mind of the anchor and appreciate it, nevertheless, the how to go about it and how to coordinate between governmental and non-governmental units, so that the joint efforts can bring in positive results, that is an area that has to be tackled by the administrators. Basically, administrators also, and one of the representatives from the administration is Dr. J.N. Singh, and he rightly said that the administrators also are very focused. But then the administration has to have a wider horizon in every area, because the judiciary and administration, I think, they have to be jack of all trade. Although we might not be master of none, we may be master of some at least. I think the administration, taking into consideration as to what are the reactions in the entire organs of the society, including the academics, that will have to be tackled. And then from that molecules, how to go about it and how to instill the institutions with the finance, so that it can take it forward. We have to rake our brains. When I decided to join the program, when I made up my mind that all right, let me be a part of the program, doing some deliberation about it, I definitely felt that I think it's a duty of each organ, every molecule of society, to contribute to come out with remedies. So, and especially in this very, very difficult times, where no area has been left untouched, no part of our existence has been left untouched, starting from the medical help to the help of the downtrodden, and to the deprived sections, how to survive, about the labor class. But since today we have chosen the topic to discuss about the effect of pandemic of this COVID-19 on the unlocking of education, I would I don't think I would prefer to say more and come out with nothing. So it's better that I focus on the effect of the unlocking of the education. And as the previous speakers have rightly said, this how to handle this, they have come out with remedies as per the thought process. It struck me that it's the most difficult part, which our CA Dr. Singh had said about the about how to cater to the needs of the downtrodden who do not have access to internet. I think this is something very basic. I'll give you a small instance and illustrate that. I'm associated with some monitoring of examinations of the All India Bar exam, which have been introduced for the last 10 years, where the LLB students have to appear for an All India Bar exam before they can be given the right to practice. In that, initially, because initially the reaction was that why not have it, because the examinations were getting deferred. more than once and several times, we directed the examination conducting agency that you better have it online. She was prepared, the agency was prepared to conduct the examination online. But then the same Yaksha Prashn, that monumental question came up, that internet facility is not available in the remote areas. And are these examinations only meant for the students in the metros? How to handle it became such a huge problem. This is at the top level, where the students are, fairly matured after having passed out LLB. Now, if they have this problem, now imagine how to handle the, the bottom of the pyramid, as to how would they handle the education. And it is nobody, it's not that it is being thrust. I don't blame anyone, because this education system, or, this is not being thrust. This has become a compulsion of the time, that we are depending upon the modern technology for everything that we do, including this webinar, when we had the pleasure of seeing each other, listening each other physically. So now the random remedy, as I said, that I don't claim myself as an expert, but my random remedy that is coming, that maybe in every village, there at the Gram Panchayat level, there may be different centers with, even if it is a dongle or something, where the children can be who do not have, the facility of having the smartphones and all, are be included in it. I know I get reminded, my memory bank takes me to the old days, where, the TV was installed not in all households. So in the area vicinity, in the adjoining area, children would come. Even many times the elders would come to watch the TV. And gradually, of course, it became so common, and most of us, anyway, that's a separate part. So, if the internet facility in terms of a screen is being installed in every village, where it can be, where the children can be right from the, the primary to the middle level, can have access, if not on all days, in groups, like, 2 or 3 sessions. I don't know, because these are all, as I said, Dr. Gyan Singh would be more, would be, can deliberate and let you know whether it is possible or not. Because, especially at our level, we are abstract thinkers, because we have not, we have not experienced, we have not gone through that experience, but definitely we can guess, yeah, these are the problems. So, like, the university education, maybe the arts student, humanities, that they can be lectured through this, virtual mode. Whether it would be available, that also would be difficult in smaller towns or smaller places, because of the internet deficiency facilities. But what about those technical students, the students of medicine, students of engineering? So, it struck me that, is it possible? You see, please, I am repeatedly saying that whatever because many a times we feel conscious that somewhat it may not become a story, that if you don't have rotis, then have cake. So I definitely do not belong to that thought process. I'm only trying to float the ideas, because if you dream, maybe something can come out of it. So what I was thinking is that, is it possible for the technical students that to do the practical, and I would like to articulate my thoughts, that is it possible to have a student exchange program? There should be, companies have been merging, corporates have been merging, and there are collaborations. But now is the time that if this situation prolongs, I think we will have to think to have a collaborative education process, that one university, like a student in Maharashtra, can is homebound, then lecture can be done, but then the student can join the medical college in the vicinity where they can do the practicals. Because practical, I'm told, because the academicians, the expert academicians on this panel uh, can can think about it, that is it possible by collaboration where their students can do those part in the another university. It's a very, I'm very conscious that I'm not being able to articulate my thoughts in a crystallized form about it, because it just struck me in course of the day that is it possible to give it a trial. Because passing out student, of course, is just just at the preliminary stage. But how to instill the technical education and the education and make them knowledgeable, that also is a great task in the modern times. If you are able to get over it very soon, we are lucky, we will have to thank God. But if it goes on and on and on, it is bound to become a very, very it's a Himalayan, I don't know, Himalayan task also is a very mild word for that. That courts, these, especially these, the court proceedings, I thought maybe it would be much easier, like, than the other disciplines to carry on that profession. But these getting the students totally equipped with knowledge, we cannot afford to be casual about its expertise. Sooner or later, we will have to have devised ways and means. And as I said, I was acutely conscious to join this program because I felt that I may not be the right person to contribute to this program, because this is basically an administrative, raking your brains of your administrative skill as to how to mount and counter this problem. This, All India Bar examination got, deferred for the last so many months. And that one task as to how to make it accessible, and we had to give up. We had to give up that no, for the time being, we cannot switch over to the online examination because it'll be difficult to the management of that will be extremely difficult, and if not impossible, next to impossible. So I was, as I have, and Dr. Gyan Singh has rightly said that we are focused to the brief. So since today's subject is the COVID-19 effect and unlocking of the education, and the expectation of the anchor moderator of this, Vivekanand ji, as to what has been my experience in court, I must have gone through it. I have gone through a lot of cases dealing with educational matters. But if you relate it to COVID-19, it is something very extraordinary. No, none of us, not even the doctors, have any experience in this disease. So what to say of the judiciary or any other walk of life? If you go in a fluid way, and do not crystallize our thoughts, what exactly are we? Judiciary has, we don't have any precedents. You all know the courts work on precedents. The court take the guidance from the previous decisions. The constitution makes those decisions binding on the courts. But we don't have experience. We don't have citations. We don't have precedents. Now we are trying to build the precedents. So these precedents, it's a huge responsibility on this generation at the moment, how to handle this program. So my honest endeavor and my request to all the panelists and to whosoever is devoted to this issue, that each one of us at least float one idea. In many conferences I've said this, that we must float an idea, and those flotation of ideas can be later on pick and choose as to how to. One can be regarding the finance, another be the cause for the COVID, and a third is how to manage the examination, fourth is how to promote the students without compromising with their health. And I'm acutely conscious that each one of us will have to rake our brains to come out with solutions. Solution will have to be made the hallmark of all discussion. If we just go on discussing things in the air, nothing will come in our hand. So let us resolve to rake our brains. One part can be administration, other can be education in college, humanities one part, technical education other part, so many things. These, please take all these thoughts as my random thoughts, my random response to the today's deliberation. And maybe if we have Vivekanand ji can record a resolution of every program, that what has come out of this, and what has been the opinion. Don't excuse me, so-called intellectuals, because sometimes I feel acutely conscious. I'm very thankful to Vivekanand ji for giving me such generous compliments while introducing, but within heart of heart you always feel, मैं सब कुछ तो नहीं जानती, मैं सब कुछ तो नहीं जानता. That is our misery, and that is how a collective thinking, a collective resource tank, a collective thought process have to be built up. I would not say more on this, and I leave to all of you to come out with your excellent ideas, so that our society, the government agency, or not, should be on solution. All the members of parliament are allotted, I think, large sums to invest in their constituencies. My fervent appeal is that they can look after the availability of in the gram panchayats and zilla parishads, can be made available like a library with a screen, where anyone who wants to join can join. At least that should be made available. I mean, that ball can be thrown. What is said now, ek tabiyat se patthar uchalo kind of a situation, that internet facilities can be made available. Right. And like a community school, or like a community program, or like a community adult education program, because it's a wishful thinking that everyone will be provided, but how to handle. So it will be of course something better than nothing. So that effort, but who will do it? Maybe the MPs budget program can think. I don't know, because as I said, we just float an idea, and how it will take a shape, that's for all of us to crystallize. Maybe if it is not practical, or some very, very difficult issues are there, but we can make an effort, keep making an effort. So that as a passing thought, it came to me. So I thought maybe I can share it. Thank you for including me, for having me in this program. Looking forward to see you all again. Many thanks.